When the Virginia jury delivered its verdict in June 2022, finding in a favor of the Johnny Depp in his defamation case against his ex-wife Amber Heard, it marked not only a legal victory but also deeply emotional moment for a man whose career, reputation, and the personal life had been under a cloud for the years. In his statement after the verdict, Depp conveyed relief, gratitude, and a sense of reclaiming his voice, a voice he believed had been taken from him during the years of damaging accusation. His words reflected both vindication and the humility, while also acknowledging the long journey that had led him into that point. Depp had sure heard over the 2018 a Washington Post op-ed in which she described herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse, while the piece never mentioned Depp by the name. He urged that it implied he was a abuser and that his destroyed his career, name, and particularly in the Hollywood, where he was dropped for the major franchise like the Fantastic Beasts and sidelined in the Pirates of the Caribbean. The televised trial was watched by the millions of the globally. For the 6 weeks, both Depp and the Heard personal lives were dissected. When the jury returned, it found that Heard had defamed Depp on all the three counts. He was awarded the $12 million in the compensatory damages and the $5 million in the punitive damages, later reduced due to the Virginia state law. Depp was not in court when the verdict was read. He was in the United Kingdom performing music with the Jeff Beck. But shortly after he released a written statement that captured his feeling of the triumph and the gratitude. His words were calm, reflective, and carried the weight of someone who had endured years of the public scrutiny. He, Here there are some themes of what Depp stated. Depp wrote that the jury has given me my life back. For him, the case was never just about the money, but it was about the truth. He had consistently denied Heard accusations, and the verdict was a public affirmation that his side of the story had been heard. He described the case as being about telling the truth regardless of the outcome. He admitted it had been a long and a painful process, but said he always believed that truth was worth fighting for. Truth was fighting for. Depp acknowledged that the toll of the accusations had taken on his career. He spoke of how, in a matter of seconds, his world had been turned outside up. He said his reputation and the livelihood were taken away, even though he had never been charged with a crime. This was a subtle reflection on the how Hollywood distanced itself from him long before any trial had concluded. At the scene, many fans and the commentators later criticized one of the strongest elements of his statement was gratitude. He thanked the jury for carefully considering the evidence. He also thanked his legal team, who had worked tirelessly to defend him. But most importantly, he expressed deep appreciation to his fans around the world, who had stood by him through years of the uncertainty. He wrote that he was overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support he received during the trial, both online and in person. Depp's statement emphasized that this was not the end, but it was the beginning of the new chapter. He described the verdict as the opportunity to reclaim my life and move forward. He said he wanted to return to what he loved most, acting, music, and creating. While his statement was carefully written, those who had followed the case could sense the raw emotion behind the words. Depp had been humiliated in tabloids, branded as the toxic, and the portrayed as unemployable, unemployable in the Hollywood. The trials was risky. Many warned it could backfire, but by winning, Depp not only cleaned his name in the court, but also reshaped the public reception. He noted that the best is yet to come, a hopeful sign that he saw the verdict not as a conclusion to a painful chapter, but as a doorway to healing, the renewal. The reaction to the Depp statement was enormous. His fans, often calling themselves Depp heads, celebrated the verdict as a victory for the fairness and the truth. Many felt that Depp had been unfairly treated by the press and the Hollywood. His words about the gratitude stuck a chord with them, as many had compared outside the Virginia courthouse, held sign or flooded social media with the support. On TikTok and the Twitter, hashtags like Justice for Johnny Depp, hashtag Johnny Depp won, trending worldwide. His statement was shared millions of times, with the fans highlighting his humility and the refusal to the gloat. Amber Heard, in the contrast, released a statement expressing the disappointment, saying the verdict was a setback for the women who speak about the abuse. The opposing tone of the two statements reinforced the division of the trial had created among the public. But while Heard's statement emphasized systematic issues, Depp's words focused inward on the truth, life, and the personal redemption. Depp's statement was not just the words, it was the beginning of a new chapter. In the weeks after the verdict, he performed live music in the UK, received standing ovations, and announced the projects such as French film Genu Du Barry and his directorial project Modi. His words about getting his life back proved the prophetic. He began reappearing at the red carpets, film festivals, and in the music collaborations, no longer as a disgraced figure but as a man seen to have fought back down. Depp's statement carried weight for several reasons. Personal healing: it was the first time in the years he could publicly declare victory about the legal constraints. Fan connection: his gratitude showed he understood how much support he had received from the ordinary people. The culture impact: his words resonated with the debates about the due process, media bias, and the importance of the hearing both sides of the story. So, after winning his defamation case against Amber Heard, Johnny Depp's statement was more than a reaction. It was a declaration of the survival. He told the world that truth still matters, that one's reputations can be restored, and that even in the face of the years, humiliation, perseverance can lead to the justice. He wrote that the jury had given him life back, and in many ways they had. His words became a symbol not only of his personal vindication but also the enduring human desire to be heard, believed, and understood. For Depp, it was not simply about the Hollywood or the money. It was about the identity, dignity, and the freedom to create again without the shadow of the false allegations. His statement captured that with the clarity and the emotion, making one of the most memorable moments in the modern celebrity history. Guys, if you find this video as an entertaining and enjoying, then you have to subscribe my channel and like the video. I'm wishing you a best of luck and good luck.